Low key, Mac Bean, true story. All stories ain't true, man. You know, some of y'all know this story, a lot of y'all don't, but we gonna get to it today, Puto.
What does it feel like to be shot? Is it a physical feeling?
Yeah, it doesn't hurt as much as people imagine it hurts because of your adrenaline and how the shock of what's actually going on. It hurts after.
Where were you shot? Which part of the body? Where did the bullet?
I got shot in my hand. My thumb came out my hand, my face, and out the tooth.
Wow! Oh my goodness! There's a hole there.
Yeah, it kind of changed my voice too, and this is the voice that sells 8 million records. So I think everything happens for a reason. The guy who actually shot me is dead, and the guy who paid him got life in jail.
Got life in jail.
Yeah.
On May 24th, 2000, the up-and-coming rapper 50 Cent, who had made a name for himself in the streets of New York, was shot 9 times in front of his grandmother's home in South Jamaica, Queens. It all happened when 50 jumped in the car of his friend.
This one's
his
deep,
son
y'all.
was in the house, and his grandmother was in the front yard. 50 was sitting in the back seat and handed over some jewelry to the driver. That's when the assailant got around the car and fired 9 shots at close range with a 9mm handgun.
This gun's still going on. You're jumping around in the back seat of the car. You don't know whether you're going to get up out this or not, man. You know what I'm saying? And then you in the rearview mirror, look at you. You got a hole in your face. You don't know if you're going to hit that bullet. It's going to kill you. Nick was a professional leg shooter. It was like, bang, 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 bang. On your legs. You can't kill a nigga like that.
50 was hit in the hand, arm, hip, legs, chest, and left cheek, which resulted in a swollen tongue, the loss of a wisdom tooth, and a slightly slurred voice. He was then driven to a hospital nearby, where he spent 13 days. The assailant, Hama was killed 3 weeks after the shooting.
Now it's clear that I'm here for a real reason.
Cause he got hit like I got hit, but he ain't fucking breathing.
There were multiple reasons for the shooting, which I will touch on in this video. Most importantly, the song Ghetto Quran.
If anybody, if you think you know what's going on with this, you probably don't know what's going on with this. This joint right here, mad stuff in here I ain't know nothing about. But
the beef with Jarule and 50's disrespect towards a man named Kenneth Supreme McGriff, who was the man who put out the hits and the main leader of the Supreme Team, which was a large crack-dealing organization that operated throughout the 80s in New York. The headquarters was in Paisley Park, South Jamaica, Queens, and they consisted of around 150 to 200 members, most known for drug trafficking, armed robbery, murder, and money laundering. It was originally formed by a group of teenagers that were part of the 5% Nation, also referred to as the Nation of Gods and Earth, which is a black nationalist movement influenced by Islam, that was founded in 1964 in Harlem by a man who called himself Allah the Father, who had left the Nation of Islam and was previously known as Clarence 13X. In contrast to traditional Islam, gambling, drinking, and criminal activities are allowed under the 5%.
That's false.
And philosophy called mathematics. Supreme actually got his name from the first 2 lessons taught by the Nation of Gods and Earths, Supreme Mathematics and Supreme Alphabet, which they also used as a coded language and numerical system for communication. At its peak, the Supreme Team receipts exceeded $200,000 a day, and the gang regularly committed acts of violence and murder to maintain its stranglehold on the area's drug trade.
Everybody pulled up.
They were feared and idolized in its Queens neighborhoods. To many growing up in these impoverished areas, the drug dealers represented the only tangible forms of success to which they had direct access. Supreme had formed this organization in 1981 and was arrested in 1987, following a joint state and federal investigation. 2 years later, he pleaded guilty to engaging in a continuing criminal enterprise, sentenced to 12 years incarceration, of which he only served 7. So
allegedly, they said that summer he had 8 niggas smoked. Allegedly. Hit the like button on the way.
He was released on payroll in 1994, but all the money he made from drug trafficking was confiscated. He had done a lot of thinking during his time in prison. Over 100 members of the Supreme Team had been arrested and sent to jail at this point, including his right-hand man, Prince, who was sentenced to 6 concurrent life sentences plus 20 years in 1993 for drug trafficking. Sitting alone in his cold jail cell, Supreme realized that the drug game is a dead end. He then had a vision of something different. He wanted to go legit and start making money legally by getting into the entertainment industry. His life changed when he became part of the label Murder Inc., which later on became 50's biggest enemy. Supreme first met Jarule and his boss Irv Gotti at the video shoot for the song Get the Fortune, back when Ja was still a part of the group Cash
Let's
Money.
not get it twisted. Every big record label that's known to mankind got street niggas that hold it down. Without that, they wouldn't be able to exist. You know what I'm saying? Great grandson, Salute. I see you, brother.
And still tried to hit the mainstream. Irv Gotti and Ja idolized the Supreme team, which had a legendary status in Queens through everything they had accomplished in the 80s. And Preem was doing everything necessary to become a legit businessman. So he quickly became part of the Murder Inc. family. They had a symbiotic relationship. Supreme was now getting paid, and in return he had Irv and Ja under his wing. Gave them protection, safety, solved their problems, and scared off the gangsters and street cats, while giving Ja and Irv street cred, because nobody wanted to mess with the Supreme team. So they became close business partners. Murder Inc.'s offices were raided by the FBI in early 2003, and Preem faced accusations of drug trafficking and money laundering run by the Gottis. So they were doing all types of businesses together.
Preem in the house. What up? You know, whole Murder Inc. family.
In 1999, Ja was robbed for his chain at gunpoint by a guy named Troy, who accused Ja of sleeping with his girlfriend while he was in jail. Troy ran away with the chain, and Ja called Supreme for help, who then promised to handle it. He ordered a man named Brown to get his chain back, and he did, within just 15 to 30 minutes.
Preem calls me back.
If you had the chance to become Robin Hood, would you take it?
20 minutes later, he's like, yeah, he's over here right now with me. You know what I'm saying? I got your chain. He just came back on the block. I took your chain from him. I got your chain. Right. And that was that.
Ja then shot a music video for the song Murder for Life on Jamaica Avenue. And 50 decided to pay him a visit and say what's up, as they're from the same neighborhood. Supreme was there too, along with all the other Murder Inc. associates and everybody from the hood. They were all showing Ja Rule love while 50 was there by himself, almost like an...
See, now they try to make it painted out like 50 was mad at him because he said what's up to Ja Rule, you know what I'm saying, and Ja Rule ain't acknowledge him. That was a lie. 50 was trolling even back then. 50 knew exactly what he was going to do, so that was a play for him.
Outsider or someone who just passed by. Ja and Black Child from Murder Inc. said what's up to him and walked away. The same day, they went to a party at Club Amazura and the two met again. But this time, 50 had Troy with him, the guy who robbed Ja Rule for his chain.
A friend of mine's robbed Ja Rule.
So they make it seem like because he didn't say what's up to them earlier, later on that day, they went to Amazura, to Club Amazura in Queens. I know about Club Amazura because I used to do parties there with my brother. Yeah, and then he came back with Troy, and then they robbed Ja Rule.
I'm in a club, and I see him, I'm like, hey, what's up? You know, chilling. He see me kicking it with getting robbed him, and he feel like, oh shit, I shouldn't speak to this dude because I know the kid robbed him, but I know this kid, I grew up with him. And he misinterpreted the conversation because he see me laughing and us talking, but he didn't know I grew up with the guy.
You're talking to a guy who you don't even know up this other guy.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden they think you're in cahoots with this guy.
Yeah, because you see you laughing and talking, they figure you laughing and talking about them.
Ja Rule started acting weird once he saw those two together. He may have assumed that 50 had something to do with the robbery. 50 said what's up, and Ja was hesitant to read him back. This incident never happened, according to Ja. But Chris Gotti from Murder Inc. confirmed this, at least the part of them meeting again at the club.
Okay.
50 allegedly got mad for being brushed off by the whole Murder Inc. crew, and for not getting enough attention. According to the Gotti brothers, 50's hatred came from jealousy, seeing how much love he gets from everyone in the hood, while 50 was standing there like a fan.
Nah, that was...
According to 50's ex-manager, Chaz Slim Williams, his vendetta indeed originated when he got
Now,
robbed.
God bless the dead. They try to paint Chaz out to be a sucker. Chaz is the one right here. You know what I'm saying? That was my man. Me and Chaz got real cool. Salute to Graph, Black Hand Entertainment. God bless the dead. You know what I'm saying? And I met him through his brother.
That's when he deemed Murder Inc. his mortal enemy. Whether it was true animosity or opportunism, a beef with Ja Rule could indeed help him to make a name for himself. And 50 wasn't shy about making his feelings known.
I'll tell you personally, the Murder Inc., the people that you see, like Irv, Ja, the people that are involved in the business aspect, it's like these don't got no hood in them.
he had a conversation with Supreme, asking him for advice and what he should do against jarule.
Now back then,
Supreme responded
they thought that
yo.
They thought when 50 was talking like that 50 was just capping at these niggas. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta remember, you know what I mean? The record industry is just like jail. When you get in, you be all you can be. You can make yourself to be whoever you want until somebody finds you out.
This little fella alone. You know they pussy, but this is my food.
His idea is, yo, leave them alone. They are food.
50 agreed, but decided to record a jarule and Murder Inc. diss track called Lives on the Line. The original version is not only more direct, but also contains lines about
so up until this point, 50, Preem is telling him, yo, listen, that's my plate. You bugging out. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, you basically fucking up the money. You know what I'm saying? You need to chill and relax. So instead of doing street shit to them, he went to the studio and recorded a song.
Incidents in which he's sarcastically asking Ja why he got robbed in his own hood and why the person who took his chain is still alive and well.
Why you get jokes in your own hood? Why you rob you walk around like it's all good?
People say he was a little jealous of Ja Rule for getting co-signed by Supreme, one of his idols growing up. 50 was dealing drugs in his teens and was raised not necessarily under the Supreme team, but other drug kingpins like Lorenzo Fat Cat Nichols and James Wall Corley, who were also cooperating with the team. He idolized every major drug dealer from Queens and saw himself as an offspring of that environment. He only knew Preem through his friend Black Just, who was one of the lieutenants of the Supreme team.
And Black Just,
never really got close with him.
Remember, they're going to talk about this. Black Just got murked by E-Moneybags,
which made him envy and hate Jarule to a degree because he thought he was the realest, most authentic, the toughest, and offspring of all the street legends.
Oh, geez, look at me and see I'm what they used to be.
He wanted the Supreme team to get behind him as a rapper, and not Jarule, because he was quote-unquote soft, fake, and not real. Just a studio gangster who was lucky enough to be around real people.
I have no makeup on today.
Like that's what they said about Tekashi 6ix9ine, you know what I'm saying? Most of these rappers.
Someone who can't do anything without his gangster friends. That's why I mentioned Preem by name on the original version of Your Life's on the Line, to make fun of Ja for needing help to get his chain back.
Okay, why you ain't the Preem to get your back? Why you want to approach me? Because you know I'm pushing back.
50 wanted to take down Murder Inc. and prove himself to everybody. Show that he's fearless, the toughest up-and-coming gangster rapper from Queens. Some say he tried to get Preem's approval and support, while others say he got pissed at him for supporting Ja. At first, Preem didn't really take him serious. To him, it was all just some little rapper bullshit. He told 50 to chill out and leave Ja alone, multiple times, tried to be the mediator. But 50 took the beef very serious. He was reckless, not afraid of controversy or consequences. But still, if one of your idols tells you to chill out and fall back, then you listen to him. So 50 decided to rewrite the song Lives on the Line, and take off the parts where he mentions Preem, the chain incident, and the Ja Rule name drops. The next incident that is relevant in our timeline is the shooting between rapper and drug trafficker E-Moneybags, who was one of 50's closest friends at the time, and Supreme at the Coliseum Shopping Center in Queens on December 11th. Supreme had a woman working for him called Z, who had connections to other dealers to get people luxury cars at discount prices. E-Moneybags gave Z $1,000 for a down payment. But then he got $2,500 from Mobb Deep's Prodigy and decided to get a better car, a Lincoln Navigator. So he asked Z to give him his money back, and she said, "You gotta take that up with Preem, because he told me to not give you anything back."
Ooh.
So Bags was like, "I gave the money to you. Why the hell do I have to speak to Preem? And why is he telling you to not give it back to me?" Supreme brushed Bags off like he was a punk. He knew that he was a stick-up kid, just like 50 Cent. Preem always looked down on thieves and wanted to teach E a lesson. Give him a taste of his own medicine.
Coliseum used to be
Let him
lit for rap.
understand
That's a
how it
fact.
feels to get things taken from you. So E-Moneybags didn't get a refund. One day on December 11th, Bags came out the Coliseum Shopping Center
Salute to
in
you,
Queens
Tiffany's.
and saw Preem in a Land Rover with a man named Black Just, who I mentioned earlier.
VIM,
He
y'all
was
remember
close
that?
to 50 Cent and one of the 4 bosses of the Supreme team, sitting in the passenger seat right next to Preem. Bags was known to resort to violence during disagreements. He had shot somebody from a rival gang called the Lost Boys in the eye and killed him prior to this incident. He was one of the few people who wasn't afraid of Preem, so he pulled out his gun without hesitation the moment he saw him. and shot multiple bullets into Preem's Land Rover, trying to kill him. But he unintentionally hit Black Just, who he didn't even know was in the car. The bullet severed the major artery in the upper end of his thigh.
Now again, he went to Supreme. Now he already have issues with Supreme, and now his idol, who really, you know what I mean, is Black Just, not Preem, gets killed.
Preem, on the other hand, was unscathed. Tried to shoot back, but his gun was apparently jammed. Black Just died later on from his wounds because Preem drove 10 minutes away to the hood to ask one of his associates to drive him to the hospital instead of driving there directly to stop the bleeding as fast as possible. He didn't want to get questioned by the police, tried to avoid them at all costs. And that's why Black Just died of heart failure caused by the massive blood loss. He was like a big brother and mentor to 50, kept him under his wing, taught him how to box, and was one of his earliest role models. Preem was enraged and wanted revenge for what just happened. He decided to put out a hit on E-Moneybags, who had to watch his back from this point on, because Preem's shooters were out to get him. And he also suspected 50 Cent of having something to do with this, who on the other hand blamed Supreme for the death of Black Just. So 50 had lost a friend and was about to lose another one.
I'm Corley. Yeah, my friends kill my friends like Blackie. He did that shit to him.
50 stopped idolizing Preem at this point. The respect was still there, but he thought that Preem was partially responsible for the death of Black Just. He thought the whole situation was avoidable. And Preem also put out a hit on his friend E-Moneybags. All this...
Leonardo da Vinci seems to have encrypted the Great Pyramid of Giza.
I like Gaia.
$3,000. With a price on his head, E-Moneybags would then team up with several other drug dealers who also had beef with Supreme and wanted to go to war with him. The most infamous ones he reached out to were Big Nose Troy Singleton and Nate's Green-Eyed Born May, who was Supreme's original right-hand man turned rival, who told Prodigy from Mobb Deep to stay away from E-Moneybags to avoid getting involved in the war, because he almost became part of it. I mean, he was the reason why Bags wanted his money back. The three then caught Irv Gotti from Murder Inc. in the studio and slapped him up. They were trying to find Preem, and Preem's hitmen were looking for them.
Over $1,000.
50 Cent would later on join this coalition against Supreme, after things with Jarule got out of control and he was unable to squash the beef.
Mommy, Troy, and E-Bags, when they came through, they holler like, what up, Conrad?
50 once said that him and Preem have too much in common to get along and to like each other. They had conversations all the time, but they were both stuck in their ways, stubborn and doing things their own way. When speaking with each other, Preem would try to son him, treat him like a little boy and rub his head. 50 never liked that and did the same to Preem, which is kinda weird and provocative because Supreme is like 15 years older than him. But he always reached out to him and told him to resolve the issue. Ja Rule and 50 Cent then met at the Swiss Hotel in Atlanta. They were booked by the same promoter to perform at the same venue on the same day. A man named Chaz Slim Williams, who's the founder of Black Hand Entertainment and the manager of 50 Cent at the time, spoke to Ja Rule and asked him if they can talk about the whole situation with 50 Cent and maybe squash whatever beef they had. Chaz was a well-respected OG who at this point didn't pick any sides. But just like Supreme, he wanted those two to make peace, or at least stop getting on each other's nerves, so that both sides can continue making money without all the drama and hate that comes with it. Ja and 50 had a lot of respect for Chaz and agreed to talk it out privately, so they both walked off and spoke eye to eye. Ja Rule had a small baseball bat over his shoulder and was moving it around while he was talking. 50 kept an eye on it in case Ja Rule starts swinging on him, cause Ja was yelling the whole time, swinging the baseball bat around as if he's looking for a fight. He was pissed about the song Your Life's on the Line, told him that he should have talked to him directly like a man instead of dissing him on record. He was screaming so much that 50 couldn't take it anymore, so 50 ended up punching in his face. Ja took the punch and fought back. He pulled 50's shirt and put it over his head to block his vision, punched him while he was busy trying to pull the shirt back down. Ja then got help from two of his homies who saw the fight and came to his support, while 50 Cent's people were just standing there. They all swung on him. One guy even hit him with a baseball bat. But 50 managed to snatch Ja Rule's chain, which must have popped during the fight, and ran to the elevator with his friends. It was said that Jarule had a black eye after the fight, and that 50 Cent
Give me
didn't
that.
have
That's
any
going in the
injuries.
video ASAP.
So he took the chain and then went to the video shoot for the Jarule diss song Your Life's on the Line, wearing the chain in the video to ridicule and belittle him. Supreme then approached him once again, and 50 told him his side of the story, said he tried to squash it but had to defend himself, and that they ended up jumping him. Preem understood why it went down the way it did and couldn't blame him for it, but he still wanted Jarule's chain back. Remind you that this was the second time now that Ja asked him for help.
Why you ready to Preem to get your shit back? Why you want to approach me? Because you know I put your shit back.
Hair loss looks different on everyone. Whether it's a receding hairline, balding spots, or thinning all...
50 still respected Preem, so of course he gave him the chain back.
YG salute.
But he got a gold watch in return.
Rondo salute.
He even rapped about this on another Ja Rule diss track called Back Down, which came out 3 years later.
50 on Back Down.
Murder Inc. tried to blackball him, even back then, telling people in the industry that he can't rap, that he's whack, fake. Ja Rule made multiple phone calls trying to sabotage 50's career. He made it difficult for 50 to build relationships and tried to turn his fans and friends against him, which of course infuriated him. Every time 50 tried to respond or approach Ja, Preem intervened and stepped in, telling him to fall back, chill, and to leave Ja alone. One time he went to see Ja on the Coliseum Block in Queens, when they were shooting a music video. 50 grabbed his pistol and went there on a motorcycle to see what it's about. Just like in most Ja Rule video shootings, Supreme was present to give support and protection. He saw 50 Cent across the street and knew that he was trying to find Ja Rule. So he called him from a distance and spoke to him, trying to hinder him from whatever he's planning to do. Pulled him to the side and said, "Don't do it." 50 was like, "What the hell is this problem, man?" And Supreme said, "Nah, I told you. Leave them alone, they ain't gonna do nothing." Out of respect for Preem, 50 left it alone once again. The beef partly existed because of Preem speaking up for Ja and 50 feeling rejected by him. Chaz and Supreme tried to iron things out and arrange a meeting for Ja and 50 to squash the beef. 50, even though he came to the building of the meeting, refused to sit down with them, thinking it would either get physical again or have an unsatisfactory outcome for him, as he was technically the person who made things escalate while having nothing to show off. I mean, he was quote-unquote the cloud chaser and Ja Rule the superstar. So they will tell him to stop doing what he does, and Ja Rule gets to do whatever he wants. They saw 50 as a little angry boy. He thought that he would be the only one who gets criticized. Everyone else was in their comfort zone.
He was like,
Ja had everything, and 50 didn't even have a career at this point. Murder Inc. continued to pull strings behind the scenes and put obstacles in 50's way, career-wise, despite Preem telling him that they'll do nothing. Him rejecting 50 really hurt his feelings. But Preem was just riding what he thought was the winning horse. He thought 50 had no future in rap and that Ja is the superstar, the money horse, the side that he has to pick if he wants to make millions.
You know what's so crazy though? But they'll make it seem like 50 was hating on a nigga. 50 wasn't hating on him. 50 was keeping the street, and you had Preem that was getting money from these niggas. Like, nah, chill. You're a little nigga. So what's the little nigga gonna do after a while?
He also got mad at his manager Chaz for being cool with Ja. Everyone was cool, happy, and satisfied except him. 50 was the problem child, the little man in the situation. So he didn't go to the meeting to squash the beef, and the people who were supporting him and vouching for him, like Chaz for example, told 50 that he was on his own now. They parted ways after seeing that the beef won't get squashed anytime soon. The OGs who gave 50 Cent protection washed their hands off him and basically stopped holding back the wolves that were desperately trying to take his head. He was now marked for death.
Slim switch sides on me, let me ride on me. I thought we was cool, why you want me to die, homie?
50 joining Green Eyed Bones' alliance against Preem might have partly been because of Chaz, who was actually the one that sold out Green Eyed Bone to his ex-boss Preem, after Green Eyed stole some jewelry from him, even though he was his right-hand man. Chaz, of course, told him about this, and since then they're the biggest enemies. People say that that's the reason why Preem hated stick-up kids and thieves like E-Moneybags and 50, who in return felt abandoned by Chaz and thought that Preem was responsible for Black Just death. So that might have been another reason why he joined Green Eyed Bone and E-Moneybags in the war against Preem, and why he treated Chaz like an enemy. Cause Chaz never reached out to him. even after he got shot. And 50 to this day only spoke negatively about him, even after he passed. The next incident after the cancelled meeting was the stabbing in the Hit Factory recording studio on March 24, 2000. The Murder Inc. camp and 50 Cent were in the same building but in different rooms.
So I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I made $49,000 in the last 30 days copying and pasting. Luckily, you don't have to be smart for it because all it is just copy and paste. I'm doing it as a complete side hustle right now. What's taking up a majority of my time is building my dream house. So in the mornings, spend 5 minutes a day doing it. And Jamel right here spent 5 minutes a day doing it.
My bad, y'all.
1,000.
Ja heard about 50 being there from the Fugees member Pras and wanted to jump him, but he was on crutches because of an accident. He messed up his ankle on MTV. So when Irv and Chris Gotti came, Ja convinced them to go find 50 and attack him. Black Child joined in, but Ja himself didn't fight. 50 was in a different room with Tony Yayo, a DJ, and 2 other people working on music. It took the Murder Inc. camp a while until they found them. But when they did, 50 was caught by surprise. The lights went off and the fight was so quick that 50 didn't even know what happened. Both sides threw punches, but Black Child stabbed everyone in that room, including 50, who was injured in the gut. They were even throwing studio equipment at each other. 50 hit Chris Gotti with a speaker, and the Murder Inc. camp left as fast as they came.
When I'm hearing all the commotion, anything will happen, I come outside, and that's when I see 50 coming out. I'm like, what's up, bro? You all right? Like that, and walked out.
One of the 4 bosses and the third in charge of the Supreme team was actually in the same building that day. His name is James Anthony, also known as Bimmy. He saw 50 Cent when he was trying to leave the building, cause Bimmy was downstairs in a room with Mariah Carey. 50 and Ja were upstairs when the fight broke out, but Bimmy saw him when 50 came downstairs to leave. He didn't have anything to do with Murder Inc. and had no clue what was going on. He actually had a cool relationship with him, didn't get involved in the whole beef with Supreme. So 50 greeted him and went outside, trying to hide the fact that he's in pain from his stab wounds. The co-owner of the Source magazine, Benzino, then called the Atlantic car service for a cab and saved 50 Cent by letting him jump in and drive home safely. His grandma then cleaned the wound with peroxide, and then he went to the hospital the next day to avoid an infection. He got 3 stitches, some antibiotics, and that's it. Murder Inc. had to pay $250,000 for the hospital fees of those 5 that were injured. And the DJ actually reported it to the police. He got stabbed by just being in the wrong place at the wrong time, even though he had nothing to do with the beef. He was just there to engineer and produce. And that's where the restraining order came from. It was issued by the court after the DJ reported it to the police. Murder Inc. and Supreme thought that 50 was cooperating with the police, even though that's against the code of the streets. Irv and Chris Gotti got arrested for the attack, but got out due to 50 not showing up in court. They were not allowed to get close to 50 and the other 4 victims. Had to stay away at least 100 yards. The order of protection didn't include jarule or members of the Supreme team, just Irv and Chris Gotti. The streets labeled 50 Cent a snitch, and 50 of course had a problem with this.
The moral of the snitch, you snitch, you this is now. That's the worst thing you can be in the environment that I come up in.
In an interview he said, if there's one thing that's not cool to be in the streets, it's a snitch. You sentence a guy to death when you call him that. People from Murder Inc. were showing off paperwork to prove that 50 and Tony Yayo had an order of protection and that they were suing them. According to jarule, the case got dropped because 50 didn't want problems with his label. Supreme's influence on Murder Inc. was increasing. Irv Gotti was the boss of the label on paper, but when Preem walked through the room and said something, everyone listened. Maybe Irv was the boss in the Universal building, but Preem had the keys to it. Came and went as he chose, and people followed his orders. He started to take the music business more seriously, and warned everybody in the industry, never f with Murder Inc. He knew they were his meal tickets, so he was protecting.
3 reasons my dermatologist loves this soap. Dr. Squatch is a high-quality soap made with men's specific needs in mind.
And it's crazy on sale. Save up to 35% with Black Friday deals.
It's a cleanser, moisturizer, exfoliator, and cologne all in one genius little bar. It's made with natural
they getting a bag off this one, y'all.
protecting his interests. To him,
bad
the
at
50
this
Cent
point.
thing was about nothing. But 50 wouldn't shut up. He's temperamental and says what he feels. I'm pragmatic and stick to facts that don't change every time I speak, Supreme said. And the existence of the order of protection was a fact. They had it on paper. Supreme started to think that 50 was cooperating with the cops and that he might be a snitch. And on top of that, Supreme got shot at a gas station and blamed 50 for it. Thought he was trying to kill him. He knew that 50 was close to his enemies, E-Moneybags, Green-Eyed Born, and Big Nose Troy. Preem thought that they were out to get him. This was also around the time the infamous Ghetto Quran song got leaked online, even though it was supposed to be released on July 4th with 50's debut album Power of the Dollar under Columbia Records. It came out at a very vulnerable time for Preem. 50 was just getting on his nerves with everything he did. Every week there was a new problem related to him. He was deemed a snitch because of the order of protection, and now out of nowhere we get a song where he essentially names all the big drug dealers, kingpins, hustlers, and gangsters in Queens, who are partially still active in the streets. The intention was to pay homage to street legends and some of his idols.
All plays,
but
like
they took it differently and accused him of violating the code of the streets, saying that he was cooperating with the police and getting everyone in trouble, doing work for the FBI, which was already investigating.
And they wouldn't say nothing to me, though. He had a problem later when law enforcement started to hold on to the record.
Preem said, and I quote, "I never called him a snitch. I said his behavior could be construed as dry snitching. I was referring to his contact with federal agents and him telling them to listen to his lyrics, because law enforcement was starting to hold on to that records and asking 50 if he could elaborate and tell them what he knows about all the gangsters he named on Ghetto Quran. But 50 brushed them off and said, 'Listen to the record.' Supreme interpreted that statement as, 'Use my record as evidence if you want to lock them up.' Supreme abandoned peacemaking efforts after realizing that 50 was a quote-unquote Asian provocateur that vividly chronicled the South Jamaican crack trade and cooperated with the police. Supreme felt like he shouldn't have aired the dirty laundry, to which 50 responded with, 'If I'm a snitch, then who got locked up?' Now, he doesn't like that I'm airing dirty laundry. He done put the laundry out on the line. I don't like none of them old folks. Their whole style is obsolete." Supreme then added, "When we was coming up, there was a code of conduct. You didn't speak about dudes who may still be in the streets. Kid, you've never been through nothing. I was around wolves, man. I walked among giants." Preem just felt provoked and disrespected. First he ignored his peacemaking efforts and him saying stay away from Ja. Then he dissed him, stole his chain, and posed around with it in videos. And now he's exposing every drug dealer from Queens while telling his fans that he will destroy Murder Inc., which he labeled as a group of studio gangsters.
Happy holidays.
Again, Preem was part of the Murder Inc. family. Every beef jarule had, Preem took it on to himself. 50 also had an alliance with E-Moneybags, Green-Eyed Born, and Big Nose Troy, who were all trying to kill Supreme. All the OGs and street legends were turning his back on him. Supreme felt like he had more than enough reasons to do something about it, thinking 50 might get him locked up or ruin his business if he continues. 50 argued that everything he revealed on Ghetto Quran was already in the book Cop Shot, which was available in the library. But this is untrue, because there are names in the song that weren't mentioned in the book. He also said that everything was in the newspapers and already publicly known, but they took it differently. DJs would get beaten up and threatened for playing that records, told to not promote it or put it on mixtapes. The streets obeyed and 50 was labeled a snitch. No recording studio in America would let him record in their facility. That's why he went to Canada.
I have no makeup on today, and this is what I'm looking like. And so I was searching for something that would help me fix my hyperpigmentation problems. The skincare I was using was no longer effective, and I needed something stronger. And that is where Curology came into play. Now, with any skincare routine and anything you want to see results with, one, you have to be consistent, and two, you have to give it some time to work.
To record music.
You know, people look at it and go, well, he wasn't supposed to say that about me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to take hip-hop to being, back to when we were a little more competitive. Now it's to the point where the artist was even scared to say your name. Like,
people were too scared to drop names on songs, mainly because of the East Coast-West Coast war. And 50 wanted to revolutionize the rap game with songs like How to Rob, in which he called out like 50 people. dissing dozens of MCs to get their respect. Ghetto Quran was like the street version of it. First he got the respect from the industry, and now he wants the respect from the streets. By being the first MC who has enough courage to rap about the Supreme Team and other highly respected drug dealers as if he's an associate or somebody who has witnessed everything firsthand. Basically throwing his name into the mix as somebody who deserves the same level of respect as the people mentioned. Pointing his finger at every major drug dealer and associate of the Supreme Team on one of the greatest and most sensational hip-hop records ever. 50 tried to lure jarule into a battle by airing out Supreme's legacy on a song.
That's what he did.
Not knowing that he would get shot for it. He thought Preem would just make him respond on records, after being fed up with him. Cause before that, Ja felt like he's too big to address him. Supreme even sent out a message telling 50 to stop rapping about him. He was a nuisance and a pest to him. Can you believe the nerve of this little motherfucker? 50's audacity made him a serious threat. A quote-unquote dry snitch who would cause drama and do everything for attention. Somebody who just doesn't care about anything or anyone, and doesn't know when to stop.
I don't believe you, murder.
Every time Preem and Murder Inc. turned around, 50 was there taunting them, questioning their manhood and their street cred. Preem was afraid that 50 would destroy or harm Jarule's career and slow down their money. Which means he was a threat for his business and also for their reputation on the streets. Because Supreme didn't tolerate any form of disrespect, especially not from a kid. 50 could become a serious problem once he gets a larger following. Preem also felt physically intimidated by him.
Someone, felt like that I would potentially do something to them if they kept going in the direction that they were going.
Man, you are tough. You don't have to address a rapper with killing him. We're shooting him, you know what I'm saying, 9 times. Rapper says something you don't like, you hit him over there. You know what you're going to do? You're going to write a rap about it.
50 was one of the few people who never showed fear in Preem's presence. He just didn't seem to care, as if he wasn't one of the most respected, feared, and idolized people in Queens. Every time he went at Ja, he subliminally told Preem that he doesn't respect him enough to stay away from his associates and business partners. You got the impression that he'll attack anybody if he wants. And that nobody can tell him what to do.
I remember Preem coming to the block one day and try to sun 50 and rub his head, and 50 rubbed his head. And Preem, and that was the day I know Preem didn't like 50. Preem did, you know the old school shit. You know what 50 did? Yeah, man.
Do it back, yeah.
Man. Oh, you know what the block did? Yeah, There's only 4 things that I know personally in Queens that wasn't scared of Preem. 50, E-Moneybags, Hama, and Big Nose Troy.
Supreme was afraid of the consequences of what may happen if the song blows up or helps the FBI with their investigations. They were desperately trying to get him back in. He also felt physically threatened and still wanted retaliation for Black Just, after finding out that 50 joined the coalition between Just's killer E-Moneybags, Big Nose Troy, and Preem's right-hand man turned rival Green-Eyed Born. Both sides were in a war and put out hits on each other. Irv Gotti got smacked up by the 3 gentlemen I just mentioned, and 50 was just desperately asking for trouble, not listening to advices and orders from OGs, and continuing to go at Ja. So Supreme decided to get rid of them, and put out a hit on all 4. $25,000 a head. The hitmen were told to kill them on sight. 50 was the first to get hit on May 24th, 2000. But he survived.
Hair loss looks different on everyone.
Aha, now we
Whether
learn it.
it's a receding hairline, balding spots, or thinning.
They ain't tell me you all listen and get rich or die trying.
2001 by 4 hitmen.
My bad.
And Big Nose Troy Singleton was killed the same year on October 28th. Green-Eyed Born got away and was never found. For the hit on 50, Preem paid the assailant Daryl Hama Baum, who was Mike Tyson's close friend and bodyguard, to get the job done. And 3 months after the leak of Ghetto Quran, on May 24th, 12 p.m., 50 was shot 9 times in front of his grandmother's house while he was in the back seat of his friend Curtis Brown's car, which was parked right in front of the house. The driver was waiting there with his girlfriend. When 50 got out the house, he checked if there's anything out of the ordinary. But everything seemed fine, so he hopped in the car. The driver then wondered where his diamond cross pendant was. 50 had left it in the house, but the driver wanted him to get it so he can wear it. 50 then hopped out the car to get the chain along with a gun, in case they run into some problems due to the flashiness of the jewelry. He saw a car ease up the block when he got out the house, but didn't think much of it. So he got back in the car, and the assailant got out at the same time. He then approached 50, who then felt him come over his shoulder, but he didn't see him. Hama was going around the car. When 50 handed his driver the jewelry, the shooter sneaked up from the left side and fired shots. 50 jumped and felt his leg burning. He fell back down while Hama was still shooting. A bullet tore into his face and he thought his mouth exploded. Another slug blew up his hand before the driver finally pulled off. They immediately rushed to the hospital where he spent the next 13 days. He had wounds in his hand, arm, hip, legs, chest, and left cheek, which resulted in a swollen tongue, the loss of a wisdom tooth, and a slightly slurred voice. His legs were also broken. His friend only got shot in the hands and left the hospital the same day. Chaz Slim didn't reach out or check on him, so 50 assumed that he knew about the shooting.
Oh, so that's why, okay, so that's why he went bad with Chaz Williams. I said I seen Chaz Williams. He was known for the banks. Chaz Williams, my man, he was known for the banks. Seen niggas get thrown from the plank, sharks swimming around, leave the bones in the shank. Real talk.
Sent a flurry of messages, allegedly within 30 minutes of the shooting, asking how many times 50 got shot and if he was killed. Preem then had a meeting with Hama and the people in the car. 3 weeks later, on June 10th, 2000, Hama was shot and killed in a drug war with Damien World Hardy. 50 had nothing to do with the shooting. Hama was shot in the back of the head and died immediately. The shooter, Damien World Hardy, was accused of committing more than 6 murders as well as racketeering. He was once engaged to the rapper Lil Kim. Mike Tyson then dedicated the fight to his fallen friends and allegedly put up $50,000 for a hit on the Brooklyn gang Cash Money Click, which Damien...
We're going to be talking about the World story too, you know what I'm saying? Because Rob Lowe, No World. A couple of my people know World.
World was a part of.
I dedicate this fight to my brother, Darryl Brown, who died. I'll be there to see you. I love you with all my heart.
The same man that killed Hama then tried to shoot 50 Cent and his crew in the year 2003 for dissing Lil Kim on the radio when he was talking about their collaboration on the song Magic Stick. Then in 2015, Damien World Hardy got a life in prison sentence for 6 murders. But back to our topic. After getting shot 9 times and being rushed to the hospital, Murder Inc. was still not done sabotaging 50's career. Supreme made sure that his debut album, Power of the Dollar, never saw the light of day.
Wow.
Even though it was supposed to be released on July 4th.
So 50 wasn't lying. 50 wasn't lying about none of the shit he's saying.
Jam Master Jay on October 30th, 2002. Because 50 was signed to Jay's record company between 1996 and 1998.
Part. My bad.
Back then. That was...
My bad. I want that video game too.
It was years before the beef.
All right, go ahead.
Supreme was actually cool with him and had a lot of love and respect for him. 50 wasn't even signed to him anymore when the beef started or when he got shot, because he got a deal with Columbia in 1999. They paid him $65,000 in advance, of which he gave $50,000 to Jam Master Jay to release him from the label and to get out of the contract.
I was signed to Jam Master Jay at JMJ Records, and I didn't really see myself going any further from in that situation. Jam Master Jay deal was paying for learning. I got $65,000 in advance from Columbia. $50,000 went to Jam Master Jay to negotiate the release from JMJ Records. $10,000 went to the attorney that drew the contracts up between me and Columbia and the release between me and Jam Master Jay. They left me with $5,000, and I was out there for over a year before the record came out. So I was back selling crack.
He had no involvement in 50's career afterwards. Supreme had no reason to get him killed, even if he knew about it. That's just a silly rumor that people keep spreading for the past 2 decades. I mean, Black Justin Bimmy from the Supreme team were cool with 52, even though they were working for Preem. So he didn't just put out hits on people because they were cool with him in the past.
I never knew he was signed to Jay. I never knew he was signed to Jay. I mean, I just used to mess with him when he was his Prodigy, but I ain't know nothing about it as far as his business ends or if he was signed to him or anything like that. Jay was cool. I never had a beef with him. Like, everything I know about Jay is just knowing, hearing about him in the hood, you know what I'm saying? And everything I know about Jay was a cool dude.
When 50 got shot, he was dropped from the record label Columbia. Jam Master Jay didn't help him at all when that happens. I mean, he could have just signed him again if they really had that type of relationship.
Facts.
If he did, then you could make an argument. But it was all just business to him. Took the $50,000 to release him from the label and kept it moving. 50 had no money back then. From the $65,000 he received, he only kept $5,000 in the end. And that was supposed to keep him alive until his album drops a year later. He was a struggling artist.
Hey, Zeke, you know you're invited to this conversation, bro. So you can hit the link if you want.
And admitted that he went back to selling crack after that. Because $5,000 are obviously not enough to feed you for a whole year. Jam Master Jay could have helped him in that situation, but he didn't. The Supreme team set 50 back not only for physical injuries, but also business-wise, blackballing him for the next couple of years. Several labels were threatened not to sign him or put out his records. Same goes for DJs and recording studios. Nobody was allowed
to
50 cents getting dropped on the label.
What's good, bro?
Yo, I just want to touch on a piece of this content. It's definitely dope content. Salute to the goddamn chat fellas, as well as in the building solos here. I'm gonna tell you what's crazy. Shout out to Crown Court TV. Me and him was working on a project with doing World's Case.
Okay.
And the amazing part about this is crazy is eBay is allegedly charged in a situation that happened with them killing Troy for Preem. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But look how crazy this is. World allegedly is the one that put the eBay allegedly killed Hama. You know what I'm saying? You hear me? But
yeah.
But the Hama situation had nothing to do with 50 Cent. That was a Brooklyn thing. Preem, I don't know, man. It's the cases is there on Crown Courts TV. The man speaking. I don't think 50 Cent was freestyling, man. I don't think he know who really shot him. He just going with the vibe, the streets, the conversation. But his only beef with jarule was a hip hop beef, bro. You hear me? Was a chain getting taken. But that was a hip hop thing, bro. You hear me?
Yeah.
That wasn't. I mean, am I wrong, Mac? Me, you was at the labels.
They associate. You gotta think, right? When they ran up in Def Jam, right? Because I remember this. They basically shut down the whole. There was so many niggas. Okay, fuck. Let's take Preem out the conversation.
Situation, yes.
Because people like to blame Preem for shit that he ain't have nothing to do with. Just like they blame a lot of other high profile motherfuckers like that, right? Yeah. But in Def Jam, when they shut down Murder Inc., they shut down about 300 different artists that were signed at that time. You know what I'm saying? Those people that were signed there, a lot of those dudes lost their deal immediately as soon as the feds came up in there. And they cleared the whole Def Jam the fuck out. For people
it's funny you said that. Because I went to Def Jam with my friend Chris Cool. He's a radio DJ, and because when you first walked in that office, that's where Murder Inc. was at. That shit was clear, bro. You hear me?
Yeah.
You had that whole area. Because when you first walk in the office, the area, the side I went through, it was clear. Then when you went to the back, it was Rockefeller. Def Jam was in the middle. And when I went to the record label, because my friend was on a commercial radio station in Albany, New York, called 96.3, Chris Cool. I met up with a guy named Sam Crespo, which you probably know, and Rob Love. That's before Rob Love went to.
I worked for Rob Love.
Yes.
Me and Joe, like when he was managing Joe Budden at that time. Rob Love ran promo. You know what I'm saying? So when you went over to that Rob Love office, you know what I'm saying? That was like all that area. AV was promo. Kevin Lytle, all of them dudes in that area right there where you was at. Those were all promo. I was a part of the promo team. I know.
I'm gonna tell you what's crazy because I want to keep you up here too long. Doing a great show. The day I went, they was doing DJ appreciation nights on the Bowery in Manhattan, and I guess that night they was doing a award for DJ Jazzy Joyce. And when I pulled up, they was playing that song "Clap Back" by jarule, but it was too late. You know what I'm saying?
You froze up, Zeke. Yo, Ziggy, you froze up.
That
Yeah,
Yo, bro.
Yeah, you froze up for a second.
Yo, it was a different. I got to see that. Like, yo, that Murder Inc. Because I know a couple of people that was fucking with Murder Inc. Like my man, big head, big face Fred, and a bunch of other niggas. You know, my man Dirt was like Jarule's hype man from Queens. Shout out to Queens, man. Hollis Queens. Yo, son, there was a lot of dudes that was because it was bigger than Preem. They had the credit card scammers. It was all type of shit going on over there, bro. You hear me?
But I'm gonna tell you another crew too, low key, Murder Unit. See, I mean, like you have Murder Inc., but then you have Murder Unit with Nori in them from the Bronx.
Yes, from the Bronx.
You know
yes.
So like, I don't want to start name dropping, but yeah, it was Murder Unit. You know what I'm saying? And you had Murder Inc. Murder Inc. was a fucking hell of a record label. But like I said earlier, all of these labels, Dipset, Murder Inc.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Rough Records. Every one of these labels are controlled by gangster niggas that run the street. Like when you wanted to book a Cameron or Jewels or a fucking Beanie Siegel or somebody from Rockefeller, you had to go through Big Joe or British or one of them niggas. You know what I'm saying? Niggas had street niggas that you had to. And I'm gonna tell you something too. If Cam asks for, like, if his going rate was 15,000, 20,000, 12,000, 13,000 of that is going back into the gangsters' pockets.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And Cam might get about 7, 5. When I used to book French Montana, right?
Yeah.
French used to tell me, yo, listen, I booked for a show in Jersey. I'm staying out there in Jersey, right? He'd be like, yo, Matt, give me 2,500. I'll charge niggas 15 bands and they'll pay me that shit easy just to get him to come to the club, bro. So a lot of the street niggas, you know what I mean? If every record I've known was ran by the street. But the thing is that during that time, Supreme Team was the street.
Was the street. Yo, before I go, man, I remember I was up north. You just said something about the Murder Unit. I was in 5. I'm not glorifying jail, but it was an experience, right? So I'm in 5 points. You know, the fake max. And not a fake max, but you know, it's like S Block. And when I was in 5 points, I had to be at poker games. I gotta say the poker games in the gym with the nigga Big Mike from the Murder Unit and Green Eye Bone from the Preem Team. So like you said, man, these criminal niggas that y'all think hate each other, they have bonds, you know what I'm saying, over years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Big Mike got like 100 years, I think, or 50 years of some crazy shit in Yonkers, but he's part of the Murder Unit in the Bronx. Then you got Green Eye Bone from the Preem Team. You always in these spots together. And
something. You ever met Tata? Pepper Baby father Tata. Zeke froze up on us again. I'm gonna play the content until he be back with us.
So I'm gonna take you back to the 50, Sam. I'm gonna take you back to 50. I love you, Mac. Me.
I love you,
Mac.
I love you. Happy holidays, bro.
Happy holidays. Just put me back to a time. Easy.
All right. I had to get my nigga off here before I bring this guy up here. What's up?
What I'm trying to say is organized crime in record music industry. Thank God them niggas is in.
You can say whatever you want, just long as it's
you're
not
praising them like they.
Long as it's not gay.
All right. You're praising them for organized crime and using music as a front, like it's a good thing.
Who's praising who? We're just looking at a documentary, please.
What y'all two niggas was just talking about? Like,
okay, listen, us two niggas. Listen. The only thing I want to do, I want to play the content, and then if you want me to stop it, say, yo, Max, stop right there. So
hold on. Before that, you're praising street niggas for running.
We're gonna talk about that in a second, bro. We're gonna talk about praising street niggas. I love praising street niggas. Right, so we're gonna talk about that in a second. But if you got any question about what I'm playing right now, just be like, "Yo, stop! Don't just interrupt it, because then it's gonna throw the content."
It's true. Let 50 Cent talk, because that's a real nigga, not no street organizer.
50 said he tried to kill Supreme. Waited for him in a 1993 Dodge Caravan with 3 hubcaps in front of Supreme's grandmother's house in Baisley Projects. He even slept in it, waiting for Preem to come, but he never showed up. He said that Preem made him paranoid. That he couldn't walk around
this where it turned up at.
And a pistol on him. He, quote-unquote, wanted to blow Preem's head off 12 o'clock in the afternoon in front of his grandmother's house, the same way they did it to him. But anyway, let's take a look at the song Ghetto Quran and find out what exactly the problem was.
Yo, when you hear talk of the South Side, you hear talk of the team. Prince and respect the Prince.
50 wastes no time and gets straight to the topic, mentioning the Supreme Team in the first line of verse 1. He name-dropped the two leaders of the Supreme Team, Kenneth Supreme McGriff, the man who put out the hit on 50, and his nephew, Jarule Prince Miller.
Well, some people argumentatively said when he dropped those names, he was snitching. What you say about that?
Nah, that's not snitching. That's not snitching. Their names are known on the streets as police. What he said was, when you go to the South Side, you have to.
I don't want you snitching. I don't want you snitching. I don't want you snitching right now.
I'm saying, if I tell you, yo, every time you go to Ohio, you got to see Mac Main. Like, what's the snitching part? When you go to Ohio, you got to see Mac Main or your name.
He was known as the killer, responsible for the security force, keeping an eye on his rivals and potentially disloyal team members. And of course, he also had to take over when Supreme was incarcerated. Helped to reorganize the gang, but people knew him mainly for doing the dirty work.
Boy, you slow I'ma break it down illa. Supreme was the businessman.
Yeah, that's Drosnin.
On the business and only use violence when absolutely necessary. He himself wasn't a killer, but he would put out hits on.
But Prince is dead, so it's not Drosnin if the nigga's dead.
Prince was locked up.
Oh, he was locked up? Yeah, that's Drosnin.
Like the rapper E-Moneybags on July 16th and Big Nose Troy Singleton on October 28th, 2001, for which he was convicted in federal court 6 years later in 2007. Along with racketeering, narcotics trafficking, and engaging in illegal financial transactions with drug money. Although facing death penalty for this conviction, he was ultimately sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Organized crime.
First time he went to prison. In 1987, he got locked up for narcotics possession, leaving his 2-year younger nephew and right-hand man, Jarule Prince Miller, in power on the outside. Supreme was always seen as the negotiator and the brain of the organization. But now Prince was forced to take over for him and keep the business running. He solidified his control by increasing the security force and employing it against rivals and team members suspected of disloyalty. He hired the brothers Knowledge and Shannon as his lieutenants, and appointed Puerto Rican Righteous as one of his top enforcers. C-Just, Big C, Pookie, Ace, and Shannon formed the security team. Their weaponry consisted of AR-15s, MAC-10s, 9s, 45s, 357s, and techs.
Shit. They didn't put this. This is in the papers.
Bro, thank God they in jail. Look at the.
Man, shut up, bro.
I'm saying, bro.
You don't shut the.
But you want that? Them niggas in your
community? Like Black Ops in army fatigues. When people on the block saw them, they would start running and scrambling, praying that the gun thugs weren't coming for them. Prince was infamous for making witnesses disappear, and always wearing a bulletproof vest and a baseball cap everywhere he went, driving a tricked-out James Bond-enhanced bulletproof BMW. Compared to Supreme, he relied more on violence. Although no slaying was ever tied back to him, bodies began piling up at an even faster clip until Prince got arrested in March 1990. In 1987 alone, Prince ordered at least 8 homicides. He was ultimately sentenced in 1993 to 6
allegedly
consecutive life
it's
terms.
Not alleged when they're in jail
when
for it.
Supreme was on top, they generated up to $200,000.
I thought they were about to show Alpo.
Imagine he was connected to Alpo, his career would be done too. Nah, I'm lying. You know what? Alpo is just as gangster.
What?
Alpo is just as gangster to them. Alpo is equal to them, bro. You know that, right?
After Prince took over, they sold the yellow top vials of crack in and outside of Paisley
You love Alpo.
making almost $500,000.
The streets love Alpo.
The Supreme team met
He's snitching right there,
where they earned $50 for every $500 worth of crack sold. 50 was one of those boys selling crack when he was younger. He even got arrested for selling crack and heroin. He then mentions 2 more drug dealers.
He got arrested in school.
Lorenzo Fat Cat Nichols and Howard Pappy Mason.
I used to idolize Pat. Hurt me to my heart to hear that snitched on Pat. How you gonna like that?
Fat Cat was the biggest drug dealer of South Jamaica in the early 80s, and the leader of the Southside drug gang 7 Crowns, who supplied the Supreme team with powder cocaine, supposedly obtained through his connection with the Italian mafia. He was arrested in 1985 for the murder of his parole officer Brian Rooney and pleaded guilty in 1992. He ordered 2 of his lieutenants, Howard Pappy Mason and Chris Williams, for the killing. The former was arrested but beat the case and was released 3 years later.
The shooters is the stupidest niggas.
He went back in just 10 days later. Pappy became the most feared man on the streets in the 80s and ran a drug smuggling gang called the Bebos in Jamaica, Queens, which made around $200,000 profit per month. He was hired by Fat Cat as his muscle for $1,000 per week.
Didn't Fat Cat snitch?
Chief enforcer. At its peak,
Facts.
Cat's organization generated $20 million annually in drug sales. Another incident that's relevant here.
I remember Ace from Paid in Full, right? Ace told me how he used to rob Fat Cat. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. You said Ace from Paid in Full. He wasn't a shooter though.
He not Ace, the nigga in the movie, the nigga that shot him named Ace. He told me this.
The backdooring nigga.
Is the murder of New York rookie cop Edward Bryan in 1988, which Pappy Mason ordered while he was still behind bars on gun charges sentenced to 7 years in prison. Philip Mason, Scott Cobb, Todd Scott, and David McClary shot the men for $2,000 each. But they all got
Yo, you ain't shit, bro.
He's saying that Fat Cat didn't snitch. That's what they saying in the chat.
What you mean? Who said that, man? Let me drop a link.
You see, a credible source in the chat said that. Don't put that mojo on Fat Cat. He ain't right.
My bad. All of like a lot of these niggas end up ratting. I know he used to get robbed. Now I'm telling you, that's
a lot of niggas get robbed. Don't do that, cause fucking
Ace told me more than him just getting robbed. You know, they went through it. They went through their little war and shit. They went through
little kids get kidnapped. Like, that's part of the game.
What?
Darnell?
Yo, bro. Just shut up for a little while, okay? Let's finish playing the Dude got no respect for nothing, bro. Mute your mic, please. Fuck. Why this nigga up here?
The murder led to increased law enforcement attention and his conviction on various charges. On December 11th, 1989, Mason was convicted on federal charges, including the murder of Officer Bryan. He was given a life sentence in 1994. 50 mentioned this again in the second verse. They know what they facing. Go against fools like Bebo and killers like Pappy Mason. His former partner Fat Cat was rumored to have cooperated with the police in their prosecution of Pappy Mason.
Oh, snitch!
In which a plea.
So he was snitching. Solid thing. Retract his statement.
Hold on a second. They go to link, y'all.
And again, the shooters are the stupidest niggas. They get the most time because they're the dumbest.
I thought you was the shooter.
Whoa. I'm a doorman.
Facts.
Was entered after Cat was transported from his prison cell to the U.S. courthouse. He quote-unquote snitched on Pappy Mason for lighter sentences for himself and his family. He was already serving a 25 to life sentence stemming from drug convictions in state court, and in 1992 he pleaded guilty to ordering Officer Brian Rooney's murder and was sentenced to a term of 25 years to life in prison for his role in the crime. He was also given a 40-year sentence in connection with federal racketeering, murder, and narcotic convictions. Pappy got life in prison, and people, including 50 Cent, lost respect for Fat Cat for turning into a snitch.
Cat. Hurt me to my heart to hear that snitch on Pat. How you go out like that?
Saladin, retract your statement.
I don't believe that, Paul.
Then he mentions Colbert Black Just Johnson.
What's good, family?
Yo, this is the issue with the whole Cat snitch thing. Cat was on the top of the pyramid. So they saying he took most of the charges. So whatever charges, he took most of the charges. So his mom could do less time. Niggas in the crew can do less time. Niggas is pretty much was snitching on Cat. Now, the issue is that they said Cat snitched on Pap. That's the only issue. Other than that, it's iffy.
Yo,
a lot of niggas is divided.
But no, I'm saying, did he?
And these niggas is my family because I have a bunch of family from Southside Jamaica, Queens.
Oh my god.
Okay. But then he snitched
on. Fat Cat got family too. You heard? And Pappy Mason. So does Pappy Mason. He got family too. What about his?
Yeah, but I'm saying, hold on for a second. No, is there records of him snitching on Pap?
Yes.
No, don't just answer that. I'm giving the brother a chance to answer that because I don't know.
Actually, I want to say no, but he.
Oh my goodness! Why you doing that?
Yo, chill. Son. The same shit that Glaze got or whatever. That's the deal that Fat Cat.
Glaze is a rat.
Thank you.
So, I mean,
you talking about Brian Glaze, Rat Gibbs?
Yes, sir.
So we talk about Fat Ratting.
We talking about. Oh wait. We talking about the nigga that only kill bitches. This is what we talking about. Oh wait. I need you to mute yourself for a second, Venezuela, because I got to ask the brother something. Okay? Hey, Venezuela, can you just respect that this show's called Mac Mean True Story, not Venezuela, and just give me the proper like respect for 1 second and the guest, because he, you know what I mean. What he says is important. You know what I mean. What you say is unimportant. You just a fucking dick sucking Venezuelan garbage eating motherfucker. Okay,
but he's supporting a rat right here. Your man down there.
It sounds like he is supporting rat. So let me deal with this. He might not be supporting a rat. I might be calling somebody a rat that's really not a rat. So explain with me what you're saying a little bit more, brother.
Okay, so I know Glaze has said this plenty of times that because this has been an issue for a very, very long time, and even about the fat cat snitch or not, the cat snitch or not. And I'm saying they're saying he
you can do it.
I'm not sure. On people.
He didn't take the stand.
Wait a minute. You know what, brother? I almost like you, but your eyeballs is fucking creeping me out, man. All right, now we good. Now check it out. Hey, yo, bro, you from Queens, homie?
No, I'm not from Queens. I'm from Brooklyn. I was born in Brooklyn, raised in.
But let me ask you something, right? What you think? All right, no trolling. I was trolling you, but look, you feel like he did what he did as far as like snitching on his own self was like held the team down or helped the team.
That's what they said. Cat did. They said Cat basically snitched on himself. And admitted to a whole bunch of shit that he didn't do, and a bunch of shit that he did do.
And by doing that, a lot of people got life sentences because of his testimony.
Because I'm thinking about like if he's telling them, yeah, I did order that murder. Who was charged with that murder? That means that you're confirming that whoever they charged.
He also took murders that he wasn't charged of.
He's the indictment. Of course, he's supposed to. He's the kingpin. Yes, he's supposed to take the whole weight.
Hold up, Mac. What you look. I'm not. Listen, I'm not. You know, I'm not in a rush to put work on somebody that's untrue. But I'm gonna just say this. From plain English, right? If he's if he's confirming that he set up a murder that was a part of an indictment, that means that who was charged with that murder? You're confirming that the person that they got
that the murder actually existed. Yeah,
so that's what I'm saying. They saying Pappy was, you know what I mean, because of that sort of
that brought
what not information.
Hold up. When he went to listen. It buries certain people. You got to think about it like this. You can't go and kill people for money and then donate it to a church. You feel me? That just don't work. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
So you understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is this: if you're burying one nigga in order to help some other niggas, what's your logic? It sounds like some Nicky Barnes shit to me.
Well, Nicky Barnes shit is way different than that. As far as him,
but
bearing all them niggas down.
Well, look, they used to practice. He used to test his guns out on Fat Cat. I'm just telling you. I'm just saying, like, them niggas went to Queens and they make them niggas put it in the bag. You know what I'm saying? Fat Cat. And there's a lot of drama that stemmed from that I'm not going to really talk about unless I get it.
I mean, I know.
This nigga told the police his in a crime, and other niggas got life sentences, and he's like, oh, he didn't tell me specifically. He was the head of the indictment. Of course, everything he did will be charged under the indictment. I know this. 6ix9ine explained it to me.
What?
Facts. 6ix9ine was at the top of the indictment with these cornballs, right? And
Yo, nigga, this nigga's my car.
He told on them. He told on them. So Shotty and them couldn't tell on him. So what is Fat Cat? All right. If Fat Cat tells on the whole indictment, what can these niggas
Wait a
tell?
minute. Do you like
Who they
6ix9ine?
gonna tell on?
You like 6ix9ine?
If you tell on all three of us, how can I tell on you? If you tell on all three of us, how can I tell on you? Is that possible?
I don't even like the way you're talking right now.
All right. Your man down there is part of a ratting family. If he tells on us, can we tell on him?
Hold on. Let's just give it a second. Let's give it a second.
Who was a Supreme Team lieutenant close to Rich Porter, AZ, and Alpo. I mentioned him earlier in the video.
Yeah, Black and you, all the people.
Of the Supreme Team.
He originally from Harlem.
And Bimmy. He got shot and killed by E-Moneybags on December 11th, 1999. It is said that he made around $20,000 to $30,000 every day and took care of the Supreme Team members financially, as they went in and out of jail fighting their cases or did their time in prison. Blackie was very involved in the mid-80s and 90s hip-hop scenes, going to all the parties and events, hanging out with all the rap superstars. He was like 50's older brother. Got him his first GSXR motorcycle. He also found a boxing gym and encouraged 50 to box when he was younger. He was like 15 when he became part of the boxing program. Black just also had a large variety of vehicles, like a Toyota 4Runner SUV, with a customized Gucci interior, 2 BMWs 3 and 5 Series, a Nissan Z sports car, and also jet skis, which he allowed 50 to use. He kept him under his wing, even though Supreme never seemed to like him. But people were saying that just is a snitch, and 50 put these lines in here to honor and defend him. Don't be surprised at how freely I throw our names of guys who dealt with pies. He starts naming some of the lesser-known members of the Supreme Team, like Jarule Wallace, for example, saying that it's very easy for him to name every drug dealer from Queens. The little ones, the ones that are putting the strings in the background, staying low profile, and also the bigger ones that everybody knows about, like Troy Babywise Jones, for example, who was another Supreme Team lieutenant that was down since day one. A killer. And
was that ratting though? Look. Y'all gotta think about that.
Prince, Jimmy, and Black Just.
Was that my question remains? Was that ratting by him doing? Because you gotta think, some of this shit was not known. Period. It wasn't.
Nah, that's not true.
No, man, stop doing it.
A lot of the shit was known.
Stop talking bullshit. They involved in crime. The police know. They involved in the underworld. The police know about these niggas. And the hood know about these niggas. Y'all saying like it's a secret when niggas is round BMs in the hood. What the fuck y'all talking about? Niggas
most of it wasn't a secret.
They riding around in Mercedes Benz with jewelry in the hood. You think it's a secret?
Nah, that extra
I said that. He didn't say that. He didn't say that. I said that. What you said?
Like the extra shit, because 50 dropping extra shit that is a little bit not known. Like a little extra shit here and there, but most of the shit is known. Like I was saying in the chat, Prince,
I didn't know nothing of that shit that he was.
Oh, you didn't?
Because you're not in tune.
I'm not in tune.
Nah, it got nothing to do with that. But Prince, everything he's saying, Prince was the killer. Yeah, all of that shit. That's exactly the reason why
he ratting on the show now, yo.
Oh shit, that's exactly one of the reasons.
Family that rat.
Yo, shut up, nigga. I ain't got family there. Out of here, nigga.
Why your family ratting like that, bro?
But that's why 50 ain't respect Preem like that, because Preem always had a bunch of niggas around him doing a bunch of work for him.
This man want on your show, bro. Seriously, bro. I'm sorry. This man is talking about a rat is not a rat. A rat is a cat. That's what Pernell Saldine is doing.
He said a rat is a cat. Yeah, facts.
He said a rat is a cat.
By the time 50 dropped that joint,
a lot of shit was known.
I hear echo.
Your phone tap.
Yo, Saladin, the time when 50 dropped that, a lot of that shit was known, correct?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, but I hear crazy echo. This nigga's the feds, bro.
Niggas,
like this why I ain't really been on Mac's show, man. Facts. This crazy echo. This nigga's the feds. I'm out of here.
They said, "Fuck this shit. This shit tap, nigga."
You gotta get out. You gotta re-hit the link so you can stop echoing. Hold on for a second, y'all.
One who allegedly shot another crew member called Green Eyed Born in the leg for having a disagreement with Supreme. The story goes that he stole some jewelry from Preem and tried to sell it to Chaz Slim Williams, who later on became 50's manager. Chaz, of course, told Preem about it.
Chaz tried to play both sides. I can't respect it.
Like I explained earlier in the video, Green Eyed Born became one of Supreme's biggest enemies, even though he was his right-hand man from the get-go. Baby Wise allegedly made around $20,000 to $30,000 a day. And
Hey, yo, Mac, you know they said that if Fat Cat was home, none of this beef would have happened. It would have gotten ironed out because Cat would have sat both sides down.
Niggas is saying if Fat Cat didn't sell, niggas would have not been serving life sentences.
Cat couldn't keep niggas out his pockets.
That's not true. That's not true.
He has ducked all the big cases by always knowing when to cut out from the scene. It is said that he was always
allegedly
secretive, never talked business on the phone, didn't take photos or go out to parties, preferred to stay low profile
smart
in the
nigga.
shadows. One of the most intelligent members of the team. His word and advice was highly respected. People always listened when he talked. His whereabouts are unknown. Currently free and living his life.
Exactly.
And out
That's
of
how
the
you
way.
play the game.
Then he mentions two lesser known members, LA and Wise.
Don't be surprised at how freely I throw our names of guys who dealt with pies like LA and Wise.
It's not for certain who 50 is addressing here. There are multiple people with
I know who he is.
Wise that are associated with the Supreme team, like Lawrence Wise McGriff, for example, who was the nephew of Preem. He served 16 years in prison from 1987 to 2003 for murder, manslaughter, various drug and weapon charges, and is now
Wasn't that nigga an A&R for Murder Inc.? That nigga's biased.
president of A&R for Universal Def Jam Records. He
Yep.
also confirmed that 50 Cent's Ghetto Quran actually got people locked up, which 50 of course denies to this day.
Ghetto Quran was a beautiful song, but that same song was getting locked up.
There's another man called Wise, who's Prince's older brother and a nephew of Preem. His name is Daryl Miller, but he wasn't a hustler. People label him as a disappointment and quote-unquote complete fuck-up. He was a crack addict that stole $200,000 to $300,000 of his brother's money while he was in prison. Whatever Prince had left, his brother wasted it all on drugs. With cases mounting up, the team needed money as fast as possible. And that's what led to the infamous story that 50 mentioned in the following lines.
Hell got shot in the neck. They told us tonight. Because you shot him, got him for 10 bricks.
The Supreme Team member Gus Rivera had connections to Colombian cocaine suppliers. And one of the security workers of the team...
It's my boy P.
Oh, you didn't call from a right? Nah, it can't be believable.
With the Colombian pair, Fernando and George. So they were taken completely unaware. Pookie assembled
They got a call from Perry Williams.
just Puerto Rico.
Want to learn how in
It's not Perry Williams. It's
This is Kara. In the last
P
30
from
days,
Unstricken Mentality.
$20,000 in cash, and she did it
Mind
on
your
her
business,
first
one
try.
of them.
Or take Dre, who tried to make a side income with Amazon FBA.
All right, let me fix this commercial shit up. They making me watch a minute-long commercial?
Yo, YouTube be wilding with the commercials. That's just crazy.
Bugging. Look, it's just bugging, son. Anyway.
Like for every 5 minutes of shit you watch, they got like a 30-second commercial.
And they robbing the fuck out of us.
Oh yeah. Much.
LA and Wise.
Don't be surprised at how freely I throw our names of guys who dealt with pies like LA and Wise.
It's not for certain who 50 is addressing here. There are multiple people with the nickname Wise that are associated with the Supreme team, like Lawrence Wise McGriff, for example, who was the nephew of Preem. He served 16 years in prison from 1987 to 2003 for murder, manslaughter, various drug and weapon charges, and is now the vice president of marketing and promotion and also vice president of A&R for Universal Def Jam Records.
Oh, my dude's back.
That 50 Cent's Ghetto Quran actually got people locked up, which 50 of course denies to this day.
Ghetto Quran was a beautiful...
What y'all think?
Yo, Mac,
Yeah.
in that same song,
he mentions Lefty and Jazz. So I found out, I was adopted. So when I did the DNA test, the Ancestry.com, I found out those are my blood brothers.
Oh
And
shit.
and Lefty, well, I speak to Lefty all the time. Jazz died 5 months before he was about to be released after doing 25 years. They both did 25 years apiece. But he doesn't like to talk about none of that shit. So I don't press him to. But I asked him about the Ghetto Quran. All he really gave me, he don't give me much, man. He don't like to talk about that shit. But all he gave me was he said he spoke about Just Black. He said he fucked with Just Black. He said that was done dirty. But then he said about the song. He just said, he wasn't with it. I thought he would be more appreciative of 50 mentioning his name, but he wasn't with it. And he said a lot of people he mentioned in that song, they wasn't with it either. So I just left it at that.
She ain't no word.
Yeah, that shit crazy. He was paid homage. He was trying to pay homage.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I know why. Because come on, he was a young nigga doing some young nigga shit at that time.
But can I say this? I don't think 50 did anything wrong because by the time he dropped that song, which I love that song,
you see, because you're a young
most people was already locked up, bro. He's paying homage to most of the dudes in that song. So if you got picked up after that song, that's kind of crazy to me.
I know, because they sticking to a manual that don't exist no more, and it hurts. You see what I'm saying? And they can't accept that the young niggas is trying to tell a story. See what I'm saying? They trying to tell history.
Yeah.
That was the issue. Like those niggas is locked up at the time. They were appealing their cases. So I guess about 50 minutes this and that, it was looking bad for the appeals. Damn, this nigga really fuck with the boys, bro. His wire is going crazy. You hear that? Yo, my man, you all right down there? Yo, 2.0.
Who shot me or Solo?
Yo, Solo. His shit is.
Solo. I think Solo was in some type of cave, bro. I don't know what's going on with Solo shit.
It's sound weird, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. It sounds like you with a third party.
No, I'm not with a third party. Yo, it's just this nigga crazy. Like,
nigga got the third world telephone service and all that, bro.
You saying like he got a van. He got a van outside. You see what I'm saying? Whole van dedicated.
Yo, I say, son, crazy.
Nah. We just roasting. Yo, I gotta go. I'll catch y'all later. Great show. I'm gonna be listening, man. Reyes, stay up, bro.
All right, Solid.
Yo, Matt, peace.
Salute. Peace.
All right, let me finish.
Yo, Mac, play that content, bro. What up?
Let me play the end of this right now. Hold up, I got y'all.
Hey, yo, Ray is wild, son.
Ray is a homo.
Did you say you're a homo?
Hey, what you talking about, bro? Didn't I tell you I wake up gay?
Oh shit! All right.
There's another man called Wise, who's Prince's older brother and a nephew of Preem. His name is Daryl Miller, but he wasn't a hustler. People label him as a disappointment and quote-unquote complete fuck-up. He was a crack addict that stole $200,000 to $300,000 of his brother's money while he was in prison. Whatever Prince
Who know about Wise?
His brother wasted it all on drugs.
He's a crackhead.
The team needed money as fast as possible. And
I mean, I ain't trying to put dirt on Preem, but I mean, niggas would have had bread and shit like that if Preem wasn't fucking doing coke all the time and had to fucking borrow money from
Stop doing that. Speaking on a profound Muslim. Stop doing that.
Just saying, it is what it is. It's the truth. It's well known out there. If you was out there like that, Preem had a coke habit. He could have stopped doing fucking coke.
But how would I know?
Just saying, but all right. It ain't like I'm just talking shit. Preem had a fucking badass coke habit and used to borrow fucking money from
So
Cat.
what, my nigga? So what? You smoke cigarettes after niggas plunk you. Like, fuck do I care?
Ain't no nigga have a problem.
story that 50 mentioned in the following lines. The Supreme Team member Gus Rivera had connections to Colombian cocaine suppliers, and one of the security workers of the team, called Pookie, came up with a plan to ambush them. They had done many transactions with the Colombian pair Fernando and George, so they were taken completely unaware. Pookie assembled a crew of the team's toughest members, including C. Just, Puerto Rican Righteous, and Big C, to help execute the plan.
My dude, Big C.
Gave them the order to take out the Colombian suppliers over the prison phone. Puerto Rican Righteous gathered the entire Supreme Team security force at Baisley Projects, telling them that there'll be a major transaction the next day. Gus Rivera was shocked when he found out that the suppliers were about to get murdered. When Fernando and George showed up with their duffel bag of cocaine, C. Just, Shannon, and Pookie then allegedly led the Colombians up to apartment 3K that Pookie was renting. They forced those two to get on the ground and tied their hands with rope. A dresser was pushed up against the door to block anyone from entering. The Colombian supplier Fernando then begged them to just take the cocaine and let him go. Pookie then smacked him in the head with a gun to shut him up. C. Just then instructed Puerto Rican Righteous and Shannon to go downstairs and see if anyone was waiting for them outside. They saw a pair of Hispanic-looking men sitting in a car and brought them inside the apartment. Righteous then left the room after they struggled to come up with a method of murdering the entire group. But then the Supreme Team and
Why you say that, Tyson?
Big C arrived, and his presence alone spurred the team to take action. The Colombians were strangled with ropes and beaten with hammers. Puerto Rican Righteous then talked with Prince on the phone and told him that they obtained 5 kilos of cocaine, even though they expected 10. So 50 Cent made a little mistake here. They only stole 5 bricks instead of 10. The bodies were then put in bags and tied with ropes, in order to keep them in place, loaded up in the blue Ford Taurus and dumped at a series of locations all just blocks away from Baisley Projects. But everything was falling apart. The whole team was about to go down. So Prince needed more money. He then set up another mission for his crew.
Turned around and gave him more bread.
The suppliers murdered by the Supreme Team were Colombians, not Dominicans. They connected with new Colombian suppliers, Fernando Suarez and Pablo Perlaza. Prince met a cocaine dealer called Jaime Padro on Rikers Island, who introduced C. Just, the enforcer of the team, to those suppliers. But they only brought 2 kilos, even though they expected and needed more. C. Just then pulled out a gun and accused the suppliers of being cops or informants. The team then tied the hands and the feet of the Colombians with black electrical tape and put plastic bags over their heads. They were then trying to gasp for air. The team made fun of the way they sucked the bags into their mouths while they were trying to breathe. While the 2 suppliers were suffocating, Pookie beat their heads in with a baseball bat. Gus Rivera, the guy who had connections to the Colombians, got nervous.
He said, damn.
And the team was worried about his knowledge and his nervousness about the murders, as he had started to wear a bulletproof vest everywhere he went. They thought he would be a liability. So Big C put a 44 Magnum to Rivera's head and fired.
Queens niggas is grimy too.
He survived and was treated at the Mary Immaculate Hospital.
Am I bugging? But the Queens have the most gruesome murders ever.
More than Brooklyn?
Them niggas were taking shit personal in Queens.
I mean, more than Brooklyn though. More than Brooklyn and the Bronx. Just
I mean, severity, yeah.
9th Avenue in Jamaica. He then tried to go into hiding, but the team followed him back to his girlfriend's home at the
Harlem is Harlem too,
where they forced her to tell him.
I want to say Brooklyn and the Bronx got it for most gruesome murders.
At a Verbo vacation home.
Come on, Harlem is the only place where your homie's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Right, Ben?
Oh shit.
I wish you was from Harlem, so your homie could have killed you. You heard, bro?
Oh, shit.
For you.
Oh shit.
Nigga, fuck you mean? You're idolizing niggas who sold drugs.
Can we just play content without you over talking the content? Damn.
Hit the floor, and the cops used it as evidence linking
Hot
the crew
girls
to the
in the
killing.
building.
I know a lot of jacket though, like Emmy and Joe.
James Bimmy Anthony was one of the 4 crew bosses and the 3rd in charge of the Supreme Team. He ran things when Supreme and Prince were behind bars. Bimmy, as well as Black Just, were close to 50 since his teens. They both.
Well, you know what? As soon as I said that, I knew somebody was gonna say preacher crew. because they was fucking niggas and all that. You know what I'm saying? Alleged.
Yo, preacher is the boogeyman Batty boy. Fuck that nigga.
I lived on that block on 149th. I heard all the stories. He like it in his ass. Like Bullets Gotti.
DMC, Russell Simmons, and LL Cool J when they were still rapping on the block. He wasn't known to bust his gun or use violence.
I'm not taking shots. Gotti. You don't know about Gotti? You know who Bullets Gotti is, right?
Yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah, Gotti want dick in his butthole. That's what he want. He want a man to make love to him.
Gotti trying to get down with preacher.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah. He mad about it. He mad he missed that train. But I do got something I want to show y'all. In case y'all don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit. Nigga finna go visit preacher in Texas. Oh shit.
Preacher done ratted too.
He ratted on his whole family. That nigga
Preacher's a fucking rat too.
Just like Fat Cat, nigga. You better slow down.
All these psychos is
fuck you, Reyes. Fuck you, nigga.
Now, y'all know Bullets Gotti's in the competition with Mac Mean for some reason. He said, I'm not gay no more. I like women. He think he's a pimp like Mac Mean. Get the fuck out of here, nigga. Hold up a second. Let's just take a quick break and let y'all know, show y'all nigga that's not from Queens. He like women.
You think it's wild.
Where's she dick? Yo, Gotti. Gotti. You let some woman talk for you? That's what you do? You let some woman.
Always a good distraction.
One talk. Hey, so, you niggas don't make me hot. I make y'all niggas hot. When you search me up, nigga, you
the
see
fuck is that shit?
You see
what's going on, son?
Including my channel, but
9,000
views, 4,000 views, 3,000 views, 2,000 views, 11,000 views. Come on, man. 9.8K views.
Yo, someone said Bullets Gobbles. Oh, shit.
Come on, man. 10K views, 3.7K views, 3.5K views, 4,000 views, 2.5 views, 3.4 views. Come on, man. 3.4K views, 587 views, 20K views.
GMX, you not blocked from no stream, y'all. Never, bro. What we talking about? Ever.
Some of the niggas in Preacher Crew is actually they actually out. His son Shaka out.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Waco. Salute. What's good, family?
Can't hear you.
You know what I'm talking about? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
You hear me? All right, I got a challenge for Venezuela, nigga. Hey, Venezuela, I got 2,000. You put 2,000 up, I put 2,000 up, nigga. I fly up to New York in March. We get in that boxing ring, me and you.
Oh shit! He said he'll bump your ass up, nigga. What's up?
Show me your 2,000.
Nigga, I got 2,000. Nigga, I said March though. I got 2,000, bro. I'm paying for my own air ticket, my own hotel, bro.
From here to March, a lot of niggas say, bro. But show me your 2,000 right now.
Bro. See, you talking all that bullshit, bro. I'm saying I got 2,000. You match me 2,000. You match me 2,000. We get in that boxing ring, bro.
I said okay, but you can die from here to March. At least let me see.
Nigga. Just say okay, bro. Just say okay. Say you down March or what? On the weekend. I'm gonna come up there on the weekend, bro.
Let me see the 2,000, bro.
Brothers. You know, I love y'all all, bro. But can we just get to the last piece? It's 10 minutes, and then we could get to you could smoke this nigga boots, bro. You heard Waco? I'll let you smoke this nigga boots because I would love to see that shit happen. But if y'all got any questions about what I'm gonna show y'all, you know what I'm saying? Then show your camera, bro. Solo. Up, you Gucci. You good. You can take it off if you want. All right, cool. All right. I think y'all are mute. Hold on for a second. If y'all got any questions, just tell me to stop the video and you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna stop it.
but he has always been a serious money getter and hustler. His crew controlled several drug spots in and around Baisley projects and made almost $20,000 to $30,000 every other day selling crack and cocaine. He has done some time in the state here and there, but nothing major. A 3-to-life bid in the state, but never caught another major bid again. The other person 50 mentioned is someone close to Bimmy. In interviews, he called him his brother.
Joe is my brother. You know what I mean? Like, he gave it up. He know what it was. You know what I mean? How you can get mad at that?
I know a lot of jacking though, like Benny and Joe. And Prince of Righteous from Hillside with the mole on his nose.
I already spoke on Prince in detail and mentioned Righteous when I touched on the infamous killings of the Colombian suppliers. But to sum it up, he was the head of security of the Supreme Team. His full name is Ernesto Pinella, also known as Puerto Rican Righteous, one of the most respected and feared members of the team.
War Machine.
When Supreme and Prince were in jail fighting cases, Righteous handled their business, collected money, and enforced their will on the streets. He's been
While the content's playing, I'm gonna go to the block list and see if anybody got blocked.
in and out of jail since the 80s for various violent crimes.
I'm gonna go check on it while it's playing. Cause I don't know who get. I don't know why people get blocked. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing the blocking. I blocked one. Well, I ain't blocked. Yeah, I blocked the bot today.
The ultimate
And I put somebody in
stand-up
timeout.
guy, till his late 80s arrest for engaging in a shootout with 3 police officers. He eventually pleaded guilty to this charge and agreed to testify against Prince and his fellow security team members for an 8 to 16-year fixed term in the state for his cooperation. He did this because Prince allegedly slept with his wife when he was locked up, implying that Prince betrayed him first. He was known as a loose cannon, who perpetrated the worst of the Supreme Team's heinous and violent crimes, and then flipped the script on his comrades and blamed them for his actions. He did his time in prison, got out, forever branded a rat, a snitch. His current whereabouts are unknown.
Man, I'ma get cheese like Chaz.
Chaz Slim Williams was a street legend in Queens, who managed 50 Cent in the late 90s. In his youth, he was a street dude and gang member that was given an 18-month juvenile detention sentence, but plotted a successful jailbreak that involved distracting security with an outburst. Upon his escape, he fled over the U.S. border to Canada, where he was almost immediately caught for another attempted robbery. He later went on to rob around 60 banks in the 70s and received a 95-year prison term that was eventually whittled down to a decade and a half. Later on, he decided to go legit and founded the label Black Hand Entertainment to help shape the careers of rap stars like 50 Cent and Foxy Brown.
Oh, shit.
He has claimed that Chaz was involved or knew about multiple attempts on his life, a fact he mentioned on the song Many Men.
Slim street side,
Homie, I was really cool. Why would you need to die, homie?
Chaz passed away on July 13th, 2019, and didn't get a chance to squash the beef with 50, even though he always portrayed himself as a neutral person who didn't have anything to do with the shooting.
Gamble all the time like country curly head Prince and Tata.
Tyron Tata Moore was an associate of Supreme that ironically might have been involved in 50's shooting, for which
We
this
just
song
talked
played
about
a
Tata.
significant role.
God bless his
50
dad.
even addressed these rumors on the song
Did he just recently pass away?
back in the year
Yeah.
2002.
Oh,
Shot you. You think it was freeze or Tata? Street bitches stay in the streets.
Next person
We
he
was in
mentions
HCM
is Corley
together.
Wall.
If I know some cats that hell out whole complexes like Corley Wall. Together, you stand and divided they fall.
James Corley, also known as Wall, was one of the originators of the drug game, as the ringleader of a big-time cocaine ring. He walked among giants and was in the midst of all the early development, well known for being one of the founders of the Queen's drug trade as a member of the Round Table, the conglomerate of Southside Jamaica drug barons that held sway at the dawn of hip-hop and the crack era. Wall was not a member of the Supreme Team. He had his own unique thing at 40 Projects, where he ruled a drug empire with his brothers Peter and Donald Ducky Corley, who collectively were known as the Corley Brothers, which controlled 40 Projects, just like Fat Cat and Pappy Mason
These
controlled
niggas
the
know
block,
everything.
and the Supreme Team ran Baisley Projects. He was in the drug game for over 30 years, even after 50 Cent dropped the song and mentioned him. So his statements that none of the drug dealers addressed in Ghetto Quran were active was false. because Corley Wall was arrested in 2012 and was charged with criminal sale of a controlled substance and other drug charges after a 15-month
That shit just sad. That nigga think it's still the 80s. Right.
surveillance. 44 other people were also charged with drug crimes and the dismantling of Corley's operation.
Around here, they keep it in motion. Come around here with your roller, you can get robbed like Ocean.
Vincent Palermo, also known as Vinny Ocean, was an Italian-American mobster who was the de facto boss of the New Jersey De Cavalcante crime family before becoming a government witness in 1999. He was robbed for his cash and jewelry in Queens.
Lord knows, Tommy had Lord and soul. Helicopters, Rolls Royce with Louis Vuitton interior.
Tommy Montana,
also known as Tony Montana, was a prominent Laurelton, Queens drug dealer and multi-millionaire.
All right, putos.
Who came up with unique ways.
I got another video to do tonight, man. You know what I'm saying? I fucks with y'all. You already know. Salute for pulling up. But I am going to give bro a chance to, you know what I'm saying, holler at this nigga.
Nigga fuck with rats, bro. Your man on the panel was a whole rat lover. Rat lover. Yo, that shit is sad, my nigga. He's like, yo, Pappy, this nigga didn't tell on Pappy, but he's doing life in jail because of him.
You gotta unmute yourself, bro.
Hey, Venezuela, what I'm talking about is some real shit, nigga. I got 2,000 in March. I'm coming to New York in March, bro. So I got 2,000.
My God,
I got 2,000, nigga. So you want to get in the boxing ring or what, nigga?
Just show me your bank account. You got 2,000.
Nah, nigga, no. See, you trying to deflect, bro. You a troll, nigga. I understand that. But let me say this right here, bro. Can you show a picture of you standing up and walking? Cause they say you're in a wheelchair. If you're in a wheelchair, I ain't gonna fuck with you.
I'm in a wheelchair from fucking your wife.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. But I'm coming in March, bro. Me, my wife, and my kids are coming to New York in March. So I got 2,000, bro. I put that on everything I love. I got 2,000, bro. To get in the boxing ring, in the boxing club.
Your fat fucking wife put me in a wheelchair.
Yeah, okay, that sound good, but you ain't answering my question. I got 2,000. You got 2,000 in March to put up. So I'm coming in March, bro.
2,000 in March will be worth like 1,500. First of all,
bro. Okay. Well, I put 2,500 on it, then, nigga. What you talking about? And I got money for you. Listen, Venezuela, I got money for you. I got money for Buzz Gotti. I got money for Roski. I got money for Hassan Campbell. So I got 6 G's that I'm coming up there. 8 G's that I'm coming up there with. If you're ready for it, let me know. I'm coming up there in March. On the weekend on March. I'm coming in Friday, leaving on Sunday. So I got whatever. So all these, you want to troll? Because I know you don't like black folks, bro. So I'm coming for your head, nigga. So what it is, bro? No bullshit, no troll shit, nigga. Keep it 100, nigga. What it is?
I say you're a pussy.
Nah, okay, I'm a pussy, but I'm coming up there in March, so we're gonna get in the boxing ring. You down or yes or no?
Why you
down? Me? Yes or no? That's all I want to hear, bro.
I'm not down, man.
Hey, War Machine, you're not on the block list, bro. Nobody's on the block list right now. And bro, this nigga just dipped on you, man. He just bounced. He's a clown. That nigga Venezuela, he's scared of you, bro. But you know what though? No. You ain't gotta show him no money, because even if you show him the money, he still ain't gonna fight you.
Yeah, but like I said, Mac, I got 2,000 for Venezuela. I got 2,000 for Roski. I got 2,000 for Bullets. I got 2,000 for Hassan Campbell. So if I'm coming to New York for show in March, bro. So I got those 4 niggas.
How much you weigh?
Huh?
How much you weigh?
I weigh 190. I'm 6'1" and weigh 190.
All right. Y'all heard what he said. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Salute, bro, for pulling up. You know what I mean? I'm about to get up out of here, man. I got people doing things to see. All right, 1, 2 in the air, like my boy Baltimore said. Salute, Mr. X. I see you.